Hey y'all, I'm Andrea with The Cutest Little Thing. Thanks so much for joining me to watch this video today. If you enjoy thrift flips, DIYs, home decor, upcycling, and all of the things, then you are at the right place. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I appreciate you being here. And if you visited with me before, welcome back. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate all the support you all show my channel. All right, let's get started with today's projects. All right, y'all, I grabbed this milk can out of my stash. This is like a tin can. I'm going to be using milk paint, and to mix milk paint, you want to use equal parts of the powder form and water. So I just have a little tablespoon scooper there. I did a scoop of the milk paint and a scoop of water. You want to stir that up really well and then let it sit just a few minutes to thicken up some. It's still going to be thin, but you don't want it to be like water. I heard one crafter say you want it to be sort of like a melted milkshake, and I think that is a good explanation or a good description. So as you saw, this is the Fusion Cathedral Taupe milk paint. That's the color that I'm using here. And as you see, I'm just going right to, I didn't do a primer coat or anything. I just got busy, went to town and started painting. I'm using a little brush here to get around my handles and just around that neck part. Just being careful. I was going to take that handle off, but the way it's designed, I was scared if I took it off, I wouldn't have been able to have gotten it back on. And as you can see here, I'm just using my blow dryer to begin the drying process of the milk paint. And usually when you apply heat to that milk paint, that's when you will begin to get chipping and texture will begin to build up on your piece. And I was getting way too much chipping, as you can see. And I mean, some people would like that look, and hey, you can go for it. But I just weren't quite wanting all of that chipping. So I just continued brushing this can off with my hand. And I even grabbed, off camera, I grabbed a little piece of sandpaper, just a fine piece of sandpaper, and I lightly kind of sanded over and got any excess chipping paint off. And I'm just going ahead and applying a second coat. I went ahead and applied a second coat, and again I'm just drying that with my blow dryer. And again, look at that. You can see all that chipping, all that texture. I mean, the more I applied heat, the more it just came off. Look at that. The more it came off in huge chunks. So it was just too much. So I thought, well, maybe if I don't apply heat, if I just let it dry by itself, it won't do quite that much chipping. So here I am doing that. I'm just applying that milk paint back on my can. And the plan was to just let it dry by itself. So we'll see how that goes. I had to get around those handles again and around that neck. And guys, I believe this was the first time I used milk paint. I'm pretty sure. I had been wanting to try it out and use it and experiment with it. And I had to grab the smoothest piece possible to try the milk paint on for the first time. This is just DIY clear wax. I am just sealing in this milk paint. I was happy with that chipping that I got on the can that time by just letting it dry by itself. So I wanted to seal that paint in where it wouldn't chip anymore and everything would be nice and sealed up. So I used the DIY clear wax first and applied over the entire can. Now I'm going over it with Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the white. And I'm just going over the entire can with that white wax as well. Just polishing it in really good, polishing it in that milk paint really good. This is going to seal this piece, and it's also going to give it more of a white hue with the white wax. I let it sit for a few minutes, and now I'm wiping back the excess with a dry paper towel. And that's it, guys. Look how pretty it is. I love all that chippiness. It was trial and error, but hey, I got a look that I'm really satisfied and pleased with. Let me know what you think of this. I love this color also. All right, I have this tin little watering pitcher here. First, I'm going to go in. This is Fusion Cathedral Taupe and also the color Newell in the Fusion as well. And I'm just kind of blending those colors together and painting that on this entire watering can. Fusion paint has a built-in sealer, and even though I love that rust and everything, I figured this would be a good choice to just go ahead and use this sort of as a base coat, because we're also going to be using milk paint as well. So when that milk paint chips, I want this to be the underneath color that you see. And I just keep dipping my brush. These two little jars of paint were almost empty, so that's why you see me just dipping my brush into the little jar while I'm blending. I normally would not do that and mix those colors, but they're almost gone, so it didn't really matter. That's one reason why I chose to do this. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and finish off both of these colors in these little jars. And I think they complement each other really well. That green color and that tan color. All right, once that was dry, I took the Newell, which is the green color, and I just sort of blotted over where it has the wording on the front. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but that wording is raised. So I knew that it would just kind of really pop that wording there when we do our milk paint. And I'm just sort of dabbing on that green color around the bottom because I just want that to be more green. I want this watering can to look aged, like it's been sitting outside for months, or, you know, just used in the garden, or, you know, I really want it to look almost like there's moss type stuff growing on it at the bottom. So that's why I did more of that green around the bottom and around that where it kind of indents in there at the top. I just decided to let that be heavier with the green color as well. And up and around that handle at the top. All right, so mixing up our milk paint. This is Fusion milk paint, and it's also the color Cathedral Taupe. And for milk paint, you use equal parts water and powder. It comes in a powder. So I just have a little scooper, and I just scooped the milk powder paint and a scoop of water. Mix it up really well. Let it sit just a few minutes and thicken some. And I'm just painting on the first coat here. I'm just going over that entire can. And using my blow dryer to apply that heat and help it dry. It does get more chipping and texture when you apply heat to it. I know y'all are thinking, why don't she get her a heat gun? She always uses this blow dryer. But hey, you just use what you have. All right, now I'm just taking a piece of sandpaper. I think that's a 120 maybe. It's not too tough of a grit. And I'm just gently rubbing over this can just to help the chipping process a little bit. Just seeing if we get any flakes from that first coat before we apply a second coat. We do apply a second coat. And I don't believe I got the second coat on camera, but we did the same thing, same technique, and then I just sanded it once again. Now I'm taking this little distressed ink pad, I believe it's the color walnut, and I just wanted to rub around that bottom and top rim. And now I'm going to seal this entire piece in with the DIY clear wax. This is going to not only seal the piece, but it's going to prep. I'm going to be using some dark wax as well. And to keep it from being too dark, I'm going to apply this clear wax first. And that just helps my dark wax blend more easily and just helps it not become too dark. So here we go with our Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the brown. And first I just start coating that bottom. Like I say, I want that to look a little bit dirty, like it's been sitting outside. And again, that indentation there at the top, just sort of where dirt would naturally collect on this piece being outside. Around the bottom and in that indentation and even on the top. And I also wanted to go over those raised wordings there just to where that would pop out, and you could see that really well because it being raised, it would just kind of catch that wax, and then when we wipe away the excess, it'll kind of stay in those little grooves. And then I just took the wax that was left on my brush and brushed over the entire can. And now I'm taking a dry paper towel and wiping away that excess. And it's also helping blend that wax with that paper towel there. Just giving it a nice even look. And there we go, guys. That is it. I love how this ended up turning out. And let me know what you think of this one. All right, on to the next one. Here we have sort of like a little milk can vase type piece. I'm going in with that same fusion nude color. I like this green that was already on this piece, but it was a little bit shiny, and I just wanted to kind of match to my other pieces that I was working on. And so I wanted to go with that fusion nude color as well. I love, it's such a pretty green. It's like a greenish gray. Let me know what you see more of in this color. Do you see more green or do you see more gray? I'm just curious as to what you guys see. And I did do 2 coats of that paint, letting the first coat dry completely, and then I went on and applied the second coat, and then I let that dry completely as well. Just making sure I get around those handles really good. Now I want to go in with my Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the brown. I want this piece to look like it's been sitting outside. It has dirt on it. It's old. You know, I don't really want it to look new and clean. So I put it mostly on that bottom, like where it sits on the ground, and around that middle part there that kind of juts out and collects dirt, and around those little button type things there. It's gonna kind of collect around that. Going to collect around those handles where you're always picking it up and grabbing it, and around that top part as well. So at first I just kind of focus on those areas of the can. And then I sort of just lightly, almost like a dry brushing technique, go over the entire piece. And just kind of scuff it up on there. And just do the whole piece like that. And I wanted to add just a little bit of white just to, I don't know what it is when you blend the Dixie Belle's Best Stain Wax, the brown and the white, when you kind of blend those together, I just love that look that it gives. So I was kind of wanting that look with this, and of course it also helps your brown wax not to be quite so dark. And I just went over those same areas that I did with the brown wax, blending that all together. I let it sit, and then I wiped away the excess. And guys, this is a no-no. I decided to do this after I had already applied my wax. I wanted to go in with this cute transfer, this little Farmhouse transfer. Now I took that dry paper towel and I wiped and wiped and wiped as much as I could wipe that wax off before I applied this transfer. And it went on really well. I was so glad, because I was worried about applying that transfer after I had applied that wax. And now I'm just going over that transfer with my DIY clear wax just to seal that in. And then I sealed just kind of, well, that's me wiping off the excess there, the wax we had already applied. And the rest of the vase was sealed in, even though Fusion does have its own built-in sealer in it. Sometimes I still like to give it just a little extra seal with some wax, especially if it's going to be handled a lot and things like that. So here is our finished piece, you guys. Let me know what you think of this. And thanks for watching. All right, this little can I picked up from the thrift store. It's already got some rust on it. I loved it just how it was. So I just added this little foam floral block, and I had this greenery in my stash, so I just cut it and placed it inside. I cut a piece of burlap. Sorry for my headshot there. I cut a piece of burlap and just kind of stuffed it in around that greenery. I had some little cotton pieces on these little picks here, these little cattail picks. So I just wanted to cut that cotton off and stick that in there and just give it a farmhousey vibe here with the cotton picks. I had another piece there I stuck in with it. And of course, we had to have that little mini rolling pin there, since the front says roll with it with the rolling pin on it. I get those little rolling pins from Amazon in bulk, and they are super cute to add to little arrangements like this. And how cute is that? Just a quick upcycle, quick thrift flip. I love it just like this. Let me know what you guys think of this. Thanks so much for watching all of the videos today. Comment and let me know your favorite. I appreciate so much all of your support, and I will see you on our next video. Let's take a look at the finished products one more time. We have our Chippy, our super Chippy milk jar here. And we have our super cute little watering can. And we have our little farmhouse milk can base. Love that green. And last but not least, our roll with it little arrangement that we made and did that quick upcycle on. Thanks so much for watching the cutest little thing. Please like, subscribe, and share around. Thank you so much for all of your support. I will see you on our next video.